reserve estimate in Galoc is about 10 million barrels based on an assessment in 2006 for a 2-well development. The Galoc oil field is situated 60 kilometers northwest of Palawan in the Department of Energy DOE Service Contract SC-14C. The 35 degrees API Galoc crude is present in a reservoir consisting of turbidite sandstones. It is the first discovery in a sandstone reservoir in the Philippines. Previous commercial production has taken place in limestone reservoirs. The oil field was discovered in 1981 and a further appraisal was undertaken in 1988. The water depth ranges between 290 meters to 400 meters at the Galoc field, with the oil located in a turbidite sandstone reservoir at depth of approximately 2,100 meters below the sea surface. In December 2005, the plan for the development of the Galoc oil field was submitted to Philippine Department of Energy. Development Program. Galoc Production Company proposed a phased development of the oil field. The plan included the construction of 2 subsea horizontal production wells, along with extended reservoir contracts. The flow from the well is controlled by FPSO, floating production, storage and offloading, along the onboard process facilities. It is the first discovery in a sandstone reservoir in the Philippines. Previous commercial production has taken place in limestone reservoirs. The mooring and riser system, manned RS, is used to offload hydrocarbons from a floating production vessel onto a tanker. It is based on a seabed anchor point and offers weather vanning up to 270 degrees. The manned RS is provided by Rubicon Offshore International under an operated lease service contract. In 2006, development of the Galoc field commenced with a contract for the drill rig. The development plan is to initially undertake an extended production test to confirm potential and then optimize production from the Galoc reservoir. Phase 1 involved activities such as initial connection of the manned RS and commissioning of the subsea system and process facilities. The drilling of 2 horizontal wells, one into each of the 2 main channels, for economic rates of production and maximization of recoverable reserves was included in Phase 1. The wells will have about 1,600 meters of reservoir contact in each channel. The 2 wells are expected to have the capacity to produce about 25,000 barrels of oil per day. The next phase of development involves activities such as well construction, installation of flowline and umbilical, and connecting the FPSO. Well construction. The new Galoc 3 and Galoc 4 wells will be drilled from a single wellhead cluster location in about 290 meters of water. Galoc 3 will target the RU-1 channel system and Galoc 4 will hit the RU-2 channel. Horizontal penetration of 1,600 meters is planned, but actual well lengths may vary depending on the quality of reservoir. The well is designed conventionally. The subsea tree system would be configured for diverless installation and flowline. The Galoc oil field commenced oil production in October 2008. The reserve estimate in Galoc is about 10 million barrels based on an assessment in 2006 for a 2-well development. Reserve estimates and requirements would be reassessed later, taking into account initial production performances. Recent updates. The project restarted production in February 2009 after a temporary shutdown from December 2008 onwards due to adverse weather and FPSO equipment availability. Extensive work was undertaken to reinstate the FPSO contractor's mooring and riser system, manned RS, and implement enhancements to ensure improved future performance. Improvements include a holdback mooring system, a secondary mooring arrangement linked to the FPSO stern, and big changes to the primary manned RS, such as the improvement of critical attachments, installation of additional buoyancy to facilitate laydown following disconnection, and the revision of related procedures. Production will continue from 2 wells while the potential for additional development is assessed. In June 2009, extended tests undertaken at the project field ended. Production will continue from 2 wells while the potential for additional development is assessed. The assessment will consider the performance of the reservoir, production facilities and uncertainty surrounding oil prices in the next 3 to 6 months. Further interruption. On July 1, 2009, Galoc Production Company said that a delay in reconnection of FPSO following the disconnection had occurred due to the misorientation and deformation of the mooring and riser system connecting the FPSO to the seabed and subsea wells. As a remedial measure, an offshore construction vessel was mobilized to the field. Galoc oil field restarts operations. Manila, Philippines. The Galoc oil field has restarted operations this year after service contract, SC-14C1 joint venture, JV, underwent restructuring with the goal of optimizing production and extending the economic life of the country's largest oil-producing oil field offshore northwest Palawan. The Galoc JV has awarded a multi-million-dollar contract for the operations and management for the Galoc oil field to Scotland-based offshore operator 360 Energy Operations Management, Tamarind Resources Private Limited said on its website. Based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Tamarind Resources owns 55.88% equity and operatorship of the Galoc oil field through NPG Pty Ltd, formerly called Nido Production Galoc Co, which has a 33% participating interest, and Galoc Production Co 1, GPC1 with 22.88%. Under the contract, 360 Energy will operate and maintain the oil field for 18 months or from February 1, 2021 to September 30, 2022. Under the terms of the life of field contract, 360 Energy will carry out own duties on behalf of the Galoc JV, with the objective of improving performance and extending the field's economic life, Tamarind Resources said. As well as generating further local employment opportunities, the Galoc JV will benefit from the international expertise and competency of 360 Energy, especially in managing late field life operations, it said. SC14, which covers Block C1 or the Galoc oil field, has a term up to December 17, 2025. Production in the Galoc oil field was supposed to stop in September last year after Rubicon Offshore International, its floating production storage and offloading FPSO service provider, issued a termination notice in March of the same year. However, the production halt did not materialize after a new strategy was developed to continue production operations in the Galoc oil field, based on a regulatory filing of Oriental Petroleum and Minerals Corporation, OPMC, a minority partner in the Galoc JV with 7.78505%. Then operator Galoc Production Company (GPC) brokered the purchase of FPSO Intrepid between Rubicon Offshore International and its parent firm Tamarind Resources Private Limited. Tamarind Resources gained full control of the FPSO starting August 1 last year through Upstream Infrastructure Holdings, UIH, which arranged a new bareboat charter with the Galoc JV to remain and continue production from the Galoc oil wells. Meanwhile, a separate own contract was negotiated with Rubicon Offshore International for the 6-month transition period from August 2020 to January 2021 to allow its senior management staff, FPSO crew and production technicians to continue carrying out operations of the FPSO Intrepid. Tamarind is leasing the FPSO Intrepid to the Galoc JV on terms that are mutually beneficial to both parties and, most importantly, enable the Galoc JV to continue production and the economic life of the Galoc field, Tamarind said. The Galoc JV underwent a major organization restructuring last year. On September 14, Kuwait Foreign Petroleum Exploration Company (KUFPEC) announced its withdrawal from the Galoc JV. Prior to its departure, KUFPEC held a working interest of 26.84%. Its participating interest was then allocated to its remaining partners, Philidril Corporation, NPG, and Forum Energy Philippines Corporation (GPC1), and Oriental Petroleum declined to accept their pro rata share, which were then passed on to NPG. Following the reallocation of KUFPEC's participating interest, NPG raised its stake from 22.88% to 45.83%, Philidril from 7.21% to 10.18%, and Forum from 2.28% to 3.21%. GPC1 and Oriental Petroleum maintained their share at 33% and 7.79%, respectively. Meanwhile, GPC1 announced its resignation as operator on December 23, 2020. It nominated sister firm NPG to succeed as operator of the Galoc oil field. To restart the operation of the Galoc oil field, the Galoc JV submitted the 2021 Operations Work Program and Budget during the Operating Committee meeting, OCM, on December 9, Philidril said in a regulatory filing. The proposed budget of $23.40 million plus a contingent budget of $1.184 million for the potential restart of operations of the G4 well was approved by the SC14C1 Galoc JV, it said. The G4 well, one of the 4 producing wells of the Galoc oil field, had been offline since January 2019. The Galoc JV conducted a full field review study for the reappraisal of Galoc Reservoir, which indicated 7 million barrels, MMBBLS, of technically recoverable oil left in Galoc, Philidril said. The review also predicted an additional 800 barrels per day, BPD, could be produced from the successful restart of G4 well. The Galoc oil field is one of the 22 active petroleum service contracts in the Philippines. It has been in production since 2008 and has yielded nearly 20 MMBBLS of oil since then,